Prototypes versus finished products. Now, I hope that you understand what those terms are. Prototype is like the first batch, the first trial, the first attempt at something. And the finished product is, of course, when you refine it and you have the finished product, the final product, the product that's done right. You know what I'm saying? And this, of course, can mean a lot of things and a lot of different things. But in the sense of football, it means, of course, the first players to come in who showed a lot of promise, but obviously weren't the finished product. And then the later on, you know what I'm saying, final product that came in who were very reminiscent of the prototype, but were just much more refined and better quality. I'm not going to yab too long with this. I'm just going to get right to it. Number one, this is obviously for me the greatest example of this, you really can't argue with this, is Maradona and Lionel Messi. They obviously have a lot in common. Two Argentinians, two little Argentinians, two left-footed little Argentinians, you know what I'm saying, who could dribble past multiple defenders at a time, who could score some of the greatest goals of all times, who have taken their nation and done absolutely the greatest thing you can do, which is, lead them to a World Cup, who have taken their clubs and absolutely done the most that you can do. Well, almost the most that you can do. And they've even both played for Barcelona at some point. It doesn't get better than this. Now, Maradona is, of course, the prototype because he had all the talent in the world. He had everything to be the greatest of all time. And he's still actually considered he's up there with the best of them. You know what I'm saying? But he was not the final product because he had a lot of addictions. He had an addiction to drugs. He had an addiction to alcohol. He had an addiction to women. He just could never really focus on just the game. So Argentina was like, let's make a great player, and they made Maradona, but he came with some flaws that really hindered him from becoming the greatest of all time. He is still one of the greatest of all time, considering everything else, that he never really focused on his game too much because of all the drugs, the alcohol, and the women. So then Argentina was like, yo, let's try this again. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? So they tried again, and they came up with Lionel Messi. Now, this time they were like, you know what? We see what we did right with him. We made him little, we made him left-footed, we made him a great dribbler, we made him great at scoring goals, and we made him love this game. But let's take out all the riffraff, all the other stuff. Let's not make him addicted to drugs. Let's not make him addicted to cocaine and women and alcohol. Let's just make him focus on this game. Damn near Aspergery when it comes to this game. And they got Messi, who literally, he is the perfect combination. I mean, people always talk about talent versus hard work. He is what you get when talent works really hard at it. So yeah, Maradona prototype, Messi final product. This next one is a tale of two Ronaldos. R9, who really did have all, the prototypes will have the talent. R9 had the talent, and in my opinion, he could have actually went to be the greatest of all time, better than Messi and Maradona, in my opinion. But of course, he never ever achieved any. He never really got to that point because his knees. He had some injury issues, real bad injury issues that hampered his development and his greatness. He had a problem with durability. Now his final product, the final product is Cristiano Ronaldo. Both of these guys speak Portuguese, but they're from two different countries. One is Brazilian, the colony, and one is Portugal, the colonizer. Kind of switched right there. But Ronaldo is the opposite of R9 because where R9 fails at in durability and longevity, Ronaldo makes up for it in loads. He is one of the most durable players of this game ever. I mean, he went professional to Man United. Well, he was professional at Sporting, but he went to Man United, one of the greatest leagues in the world, at age 18, and he's been playing in big clubs all the way up until his late 30s, my guy. He's literally been a professional. I believe he's been a professional longer than he has not been a professional, if you know what I'm saying. Now, R9 has won 2 World Cups. Granted, the first one, he was just a kid, and they just invited him to tag along while Brazil did what they did. But the second one, he did win. He's got a Ballon d'Or. I think he's, how many Ballon d'Ors does he have? Apparently he's got 2 Ballon d'Ors, 2 Cristiano Ronaldo's 5. Ronaldo's won the Champions League 5 times. Ronaldo's won a Euro. Cristiano Ronaldo obviously has never won a World Cup, and it's going to look like he never will. But still, you have to admit that Cristiano Ronaldo is the better player. They're both known for their saucy moves, the step overs, you know. But one is the prototype because his body just wouldn't help him. And the other one is the final product because he literally invested all his money into taking care of his body, making sure that his body would stand the test of time. And it has. Number 3, going back to Brazil, South America, we have Robinho. By the way, that was my attempt to pronouncing it as best as I can. And I think that's pretty good, right? I've heard the Brazilians talk. Robinho. Apparently, they don't pronounce the Robinho. Robinho, you know, and Neymar. Obviously, Robinho was so talented. I mean, this guy is so saucy. I've seen him meg some of the best players in the world. He's so deceptive. Yet, of course, he never really accomplished some of the things. He's not near the player that Neymar is. And Neymar isn't even all that he could have been. Neymar even states that he's taken inspiration from Robinho. And you can tell from his game, too. They both played at Santos. They're both Brazilian. And it makes sense. Neymar took inspiration, took from Robinho, and just basically did more, did better. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I believe they're both child prodigies too. Like, they've both been on the radar since they were very, very young. It just so happened that Neymar would do more. Robinho, not unfortunately, but he also was playing around the times that some of the other great Brazilians were playing, so he was never really the talisman, the best that Brazil had to offer. Whereas Neymar, I mean, for a lot of that, he's the leader. He's the leader of Brazil, the national team. Next, now this is arguable, kind of, I don't know, but we have Buffon and Donnarumma. Isn't their first names Gianluigi too? But yeah, this is a goalkeeper. These are goalkeepers in this installment. And Buffon is known for his longevity, though. He's a great goalkeeper. He's known as being one of the greatest goalkeepers that Italy has to offer. And when you know it, Italy now has another great goalkeeper to show, and that's Donnarumma. I actually really like Donnarumma. As you know, he won the Champions League recently with PSG. They almost won the Club World Cup. Almost. They could have actually gotten a lot of trophies in 2024, but they still accomplished a lot nonetheless. And Gianluigi Donnarumma is still a great goalkeeper nonetheless. And it is early to say because honestly, Buffon had such a long career that if something were to happen to Donnarumma, like in the next year or two, then we can almost kind of not talk about this being a prototype versus final product. But hopefully Donnarumma has a long career very similar to Buffon's, and we can seal the deal for real and be like, he's next up when it comes to great Italian goalkeepers. And finally, this one can also be, you know what I'm saying, controversial and arguable, and that's Zlatan versus Haaland. Now, why do I even make the comparisons? And I'll even let you know what the differences are. But they're two big strikers who represent Scandinavian countries. Now, Haaland is actually like ethnically Norwegian, whereas Zlatan is like Balkan. Is it Balkans? That Bosnia and Serbia and Croatia kind of area, Yugoslavian. But he is from Sweden, right? But they're two big, like 6'4", 6'5" Scandinavians who are strikers and they score goals. The difference is, I would say that Zlatan scores crazier, more acrobatic, and like more creative goals, whereas Haaland is like some people would like to refer to him as like a tap-in merchant. But I mean, I would just consider you very good at your job. Haaland is very good at his job. He's at the right place at the right time for the most part. Now, I think obviously they both represent Norway and Sweden respectively. Chances are they'll never really they'll never win a World Cup, not in my lifetime, or theirs, I believe. And I don't even know if they'll ever make one, to be honest. I mean, Norway with Haaland will ever make one. I know for sure that Zlatan has. But yeah, who do I think is better? Well, they're not completely the same. They're very similar in some aspects, but they're a little different in other aspects. Zlatan has way more ego, which can be a positive and a negative. I think that it's a negative because it had actually stopped him from being able to work well with some managers. Hence, everyone knows he did not work well with Pep Guardiola, but here we have Haaland doing his best with Pep Guardiola. But also his arrogance and his confidence allows him to do crazy things on the pitch that normal players would not think about doing because they think about the rest of the team than just themselves. You know what I'm saying? But do I think right now I would say Zlatan has done more. But I certainly believe that when his career is over, that Haaland can be the better player, in my opinion. Hence the final product. But that is, he would have to survive the test of time because, as we know, Zlatan played until his 40s. Can Haaland play until his 40s? I don't know, but technology is getting better, and he does seem like he cares about his body and his nutrition and making sure that he will have a long career. So only time will tell.